The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes. Once again, I find myself without a plan for something to do after school. So I head to the library to return a couple of the books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there's about as many students here as there were on Tuesday. All the more evident for the almost total silence enveloping the room. Oh! As I drop a book I borrow into the return slot in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up behind, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Oh, sorry, Yuko. I didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyways. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do, and after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eye. As I do, I look over to the corner where Hanako had been last time, as I was not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against introducing on her like the last time, and I get back to finding reading material. After that indiscernible amount of time spending pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide it off the shelf. With a minimum of a fuss, I quickly walk over the counter and check out my books and pop them into my bag as I walk out. By the time I'm leaving the main building, sunset isn't too far away. A small trickle of students remain, but majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off cafeteria food and eating out for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gate, let me actually lower the volume on this real quick. Alright, as I leave for the gate, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that accumulate over the week. After passing through the rounding corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and tapping on her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. Hi, Lily. She takes a moment to place a voice slightly adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. Hasao? Yep, that's me. She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she's actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. Good evening. What brings you here? Once again, she gives him a small and polite bow, and once again I reply in kind before realizing that I don't need to do so. I'm just going to town, you? My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh? I usually go shopping on Fridays. She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost, and I'm gonna pause a moment looking a little bit dry in the mouth. And now that goes away for a few minutes, until I keep talking for a little bit more. She pauses for a moment, starting looking a little lost. That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me. Ah, not lost but worried. The two do seem to be quite pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that. I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught out in a book. She lets a small sigh of relief. Thank you. She has a habit of doing that. Avid reader? Right, she doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend, I can't help but the grimness as I recall my first meeting with her. Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as I quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road beneath of cars and the students of Yamako increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kinda nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I relax so much that I allow a yawn escape before I can control it. Tired? Yeah, I've been running rag these past few days. That's an understatement to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. But hopefully, everything should settle down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right in the middle of things. For a moment, I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decide to give my full thoughts. I get Yamako's kind of different though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset. I suppose I'll get used to it though in time. She gets a matter of fact now, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she included me in a flock of students she's shepherding. I think that's the right word. Along with class 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's optimism. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled before I can ask what's on her mind. She seems to collect herself and speak about something else. So where in town you going? Or where are you going? That's actually a pretty good question. I come to buy food, but the layout of the place is still foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but with the sunset already approaching and nightfall not too far away, that doesn't seem very wise. I'm going to have to ask her for directions again. I was just gonna get some food, but now that you mention it, I really don't know the way. Well, now this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself. Looks like I'll be your carrier again. Thanks. I'll be under your care again. Thanks. Together we walked to the store. My pace carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. Hey, is that like a Japanese 7-Eleven? You know what? Just to be more precise, because the word that I could use to generalize, Asian. Is this an Asian 7-Eleven? After what I couldn't be more than several minutes, I caught sight of our objective. This town really is pretty small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with a greeting from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanako will help me, but seeing as she's not here, it takes me a moment to realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a big pain for her. That said, I can shake the feeling that she had this idea since I was coming with here. Ha! Sure, it'd be my pleasure, Lily. I grabbed 2 well-used red baskets from the small stack beside the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in it, retracting her cane and sliding it through the basket handles before picking it back up in her right hand. Wait, if she doesn't use her cane... Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers. Is this alright? Yeah, girl. You can pinch the sleeve and whatever as much as you want. I don't mind. If you don't mind. Sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can't think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it's out of necessity. We navigate. Oh, that's cute, actually. We navigate our way through the store with not one of the occasion passing customers seem to bat an eyelid. Considering how close Yamako is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach the aisles, I quickly check with Lily to find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for and put our items into their respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right. All that's left is bread that should be shopped, and that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line thankfully is almost non-existent. It's not long before we both pay for our food and then we're out of the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends to a full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both our bags. For a moment I tried to make clouds with my breath, but the summer's heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her bag and leaving me to my 2. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shizumi and breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow for that's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into a quiet street, taking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinct figure making its way towards slowly by the street lamps. For a second I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or should I say, gets closer I recognize her quickly. It's Rin again! Rin, what are you doing here so late? Rin? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should interpret the scene for her. It's Rin Tezuka, I think was her last name from school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated looking expression, something like a forced fusion of composed smile and painful cringe. Ah, I understand. I guess Lee knows Ren too. Ren turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us. At least she doesn't acknowledge if she does. She looks like a zombie or a statue of a zombie. But slowly some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Rin blinks once very thoroughly. Hello? There's an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone to say something. What are you doing here this late? I was wondering about that myself too just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed that they're wondering the same. I didn't know they didn't know either. I asked, that's why I'm wondering. So that's pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns facing to her right in order to demonstrate the direction the people went. If that was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being a quiet type, Rin usually does use a lot of words to say things that don't need to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing. Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think both of us are in fact just scared that any result might provoke her to continue. Our stupidity lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be the kind of person always so relaxed. As if full elegant grace sedates were flowing in her veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having any sort of though. No, I don't think that's it. The other passions were probably just were though. You do look lost. The way you're standing in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should take some kind of pose in that case. I ponder while whether I should chase this angle further or give up for sake of my own sanity. I decide on the ladder. I don't know. It seems that most of the time it's better not to read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly complete random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that except with a human interaction. I was gonna say reaction. And even if I win, it feels like I'm losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said. Even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I pushed the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe take another post-night at work. So anyways, you have no idea what you're doing here. She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either my question, its consequences, or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of idea. That sounds like a progress at least. At least sounds like she spotted an opening for some kind of decently normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there's some. Definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons. Though ensuing silence kills Lily's hope all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin, as far as I can tell, based on assurance aside, what should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin found... Wait, no, let me read that again. We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are. But it's late and I don't think we'll be getting any thanks if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she's doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might be going in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be par with winning the lottery several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I appreciate some support from the silence here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped, it seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So I assume you were going somewhere, not coming back to school. Any idea where? Her eyes wide in shock, she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like she acts like an act rehearsed for situations like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique. No, what? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing. It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you're going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh. She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears to quick jump at completely rational conclusions. Maybe something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked me if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answers I get. You know, maybe you should come with us back to the school. Lily interjects, just as I am about to further debunk my alleged mind reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper thin smile on her face badly disguising that fact. Maybe she came to the same conclusion as I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind reading topic drop, as it's entirely in aim anyway. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment and then nods. Okay. That was... What the fuck? That was kinda cool. Water makes me not startle that much. Da 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 da. H2O. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her arrhythmic way, looking like a mix of a sleepwalker and rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping on the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step. Apart from that, a few fragmented beginnings of conversations is quiet. A quiet apart from the relaxing one into talent at that. So how's the mural going? We're going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of the place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamuka rests on top is surprisingly steep, going uphill which slow the pace, but I still feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there, I can see the gates already. More than that though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say, aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyways. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? The fact I can't interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my brain is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Sorry, I'm not in a very good condition. Sorry, I don't really want to talk about it. I want to talk with Lily. I think I want to open up with Lily, so yeah. It's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh. Is it something that is related with you being transferred here, I mean? She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing that she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought. Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting off a trail with measure of concern. As she furrows her brow. Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that I can't even read it. She must know that not all share her own comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty, I guess the best way to put it would be messed up. Heart arrhythmia. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it. Spent most of the spring in a hospital and then in Yamagu's on doctor's order. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer though only seems to make Lily for her bro even further. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react given we don't really know each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I had the same reaction. To my surprise, in the moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Amy and you collided in the hallway. I grimaced slightly, her ability to connect the dots quite so fast than I expected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridors exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lily's bitterly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concern, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I tried to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realized the futility. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the doors, Rin stops in front of her mural as a lightning struck her. She had been quiet for almost all the walk back that I had all forgotten, but she was here. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go in the fetal position throughout, possibly in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. It's Friday. Nothing's wrong yet. This meal is going to needs to be finished by Sunday, so everything's alright. Do you have any drugs or a time machine? This is not good, not good. Alright, so Ren is freaking out. So she's behind her schedule, recalling Shizumi's exasperation at Ren's carefree attitude several days ago. I don't know what to think. She has left herself open for a I told you so unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Ren keeps staring at her mirror looking as mortified as she can. Leave me, I'm going to need to work for a while. I glance at Lily expecting to share her incredulous look with me as I roll my eyes, but then I realize she's not want to do that kind of thing. Leave me. What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened here? Why is she, so upset? Maybe she should have been working on her shit. All her shit, she needed to be working on it. Damn it. Agua. We do, of course, not want to aggravate her any more than she already is. There's a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like the person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she'll be just fine. She just, how to say? Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique? Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the notion melodiously, nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily slips a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's exhausted by all this as I am. I better leave now and give these to Hanako. Thank you for your company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. Aw, she looks so happy though. Can't put my finger on what's the difference. It's just different. Relax, I say, but that's probably just relief over getting rid of Rin, maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. I think this is another chapter done. The students roll into class on the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eye of people that have worked through the night. With only a day left to prepare, I suppose it's not surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through class until lunch break, and then our time is our own. Matul lurches into class as in a tire stagger. I suppose students aren't the only people that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he crawls some page and questions numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely a typical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the student shovels their student books, or their step books, their textbooks. I can't read today. I'm so sorry. I guess I just woke up and decided to record this. I just felt some Katawa and just decided to do this. I guess I needed to be a little more awake for this. My bad. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break their trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling papers. That can partly be attributed to the two empty seats beside me for some reason. Misha and Shizumi aren't present, probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she's making up for Shizumi's lack of voice. Nakai, can I speak for you for a moment? I'm so engrossed of thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Mitao approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside for the class. Wait, it's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him into the hallway. Mitsuo stands in the hallway scratching his head as he works out that he's trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So tell me, how are things? Things? I expect Mitsuo to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see. How's your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes across Muta's face. Good. That's good. The school nurses was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your students? I understand you were late up for a while. We're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I try to keep up with when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Mutu taps his chin and raises an eyebrow and absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there that realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied as a little life support person. Well, yeah, you gotta keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Matua's serious talk is over, and he's gonna go back to standard slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think it's hindsight that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. I can't say that word. Ha! Well then, I think that is all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My release at that suggestion is unsurmountable. Sure, you're the boss, right? Mutuo pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instant, I consider reply to this, but something deep within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they were working on the question on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped down on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Muto does not even notice them. He returns to his desk, retrieves a scientific journal from one of the drawers, and I guess I got to him there. The class returns to the near silent that Mutua and I left there before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for a chance to rest or the chance to get their last minute preparation underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks and the remaining class time away until finally the bell cries out, ending the torment. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for those problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issue at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend with the festival and all tomorrow. Hey, it's Hanako. Apart from me, Hanako is the only left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classrooms picking her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanako. But it's none of my business as I naturally don't ask about it from Hanako. Despite the relative proximity of our seat, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else either. So an unpleasant silence falls upon the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 minutes or so, but it feels longer. I turn pages of my notebook, and Hanako turns pages of the novel she's reading. My pencil lid splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around the sharpened feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? She just, aw, look at her smile. Hi! Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump in front of her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but isn't long before Lily leads down the hall and Hanako idles back into the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye, out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple minutes, she does nothing but sit with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom eventually becomes too much for her though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Couldn't think of it. That isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. But why would Lily leave her to her own devices? Seems to be quite out of the ordinary, going by Hanako's reaction. Oh, that's right. I think Lily mentioned something about going into town today before rain bumped into us. The thought of that walk makes me look outside. The bright sun and occasional people wandering around and enjoying the afternoon makes me yearn to get out of school and at least do something other than sit here. Given into one of my worst vices, procrastination, I decided that history is a subject best studied on a Sunday or a Monday or any day other than this one. I give a grunt as I lever myself out of my seat, briefly debating with myself whether or not to hang out with Kenji. He doesn't strike me as the enjoying the nice weather outside with people kind of person, really. I guess I'll catch up with him later. Changing tacks, I briefly entertain the idea of talking with Hanako, but by the time I look at her seat, it's vacant. She must have left for the library. There's got to be something to do that can kill time. Well, let's go to the town. Following Hanako to the library seems a bit intrusive. There's reason she left the classrooms after all. And that aside, I do want to catch up with Lily. At the very least, I'd like to thank her for looking out for me despite her obvious taxing duties. I guess I'll walk around town. With any luck, I should be able to find Lily. The exercise will do me some good as well. Walking to the school courtyard to the gate, I give a small nod to the couple passing classmates, the gesture being returned in kind. Even from here, the shouts of sports club members can be heard. From the sheer volume of din and track must be packed right now. I remember what Lily said yesterday about being dropped right into the middle of a busy time for the school. While I'm trying to get my bearings and catch up study that I missed, everyone else is doing normal school activities. The feeling of being a foreigner still hasn't dissipated, at least not yet. Well, I guess not everything's bad. This is a private school, and that much is easily noticed when walking around outside. Not only the school's grounds are huge, but the buildings themselves are immaculate and quite divorced from the a dime a dozen concrete blocks public schools. There's also the fact that there's much stronger feeling of community here, or at least a friendlier atmospheres. At my school, it was generally accepted that people would keep their little clique and be done with it. Eventually, I reached the gates and began to walk down the road into the town. Well, that was fairly productive. Having seen a fair portion of the town, even including the houses perched on the hills around the outskirts, I decided to take a walk around the park before heading back. Living in the city all my life, the total lack of smartly dressed businessmen and fashionable dressed girls strikes me as incredibly unusual. All that is to be seen are the odd elderly person shuffling around the sidewalk and slowly busily chatting pairs of middle-aged women outside the small storefronts. Walking along the road to the park quickly distracts me from them, though making me realize that I perhaps pushed myself further than I should have done to see as much as I could. As my breath begins to wheeze and my chest tightens more and more, I give up on the prospect of soldering on.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you guys really enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like. It shows your support. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this, then subscribe so you never miss a video. Woo!